interesting, the points you're making, because Swapan Dasgupta, the point I mentioned just now to Ashok Malik, this double-engine Sarkara, this belief that the Prime Minister can lift even governments that are non-performing, that even there are question marks over the Labharti, whether targeted welfareism is working as effectively across India, or is it working in some areas and not in others? Should there be greater introspection on the strategy that the BJP has adopted, that the reinvention will be needed, particularly because you're now suffering from 10 years of possible anti-incumbency at some level?
See, the double engine concept, it is basically that the center and the states must act in harmony and they must synchronize their energies. That's the real idea behind it. It has worked in Orissa also to a very large extent, despite the fact that Naveen Patnaik is a BJP government. Now, what I think is very important to recognize is that one of the reasons why, for instance, the double engine concept did not work in, say, Himachal Pradesh, it did not work in West Bengal, and it did not work in Karnataka this time, was because of one fact. What is common about it? What is common about it is that there was no inspirational local leadership as far as the BJP is concerned. Where there was, like in Assam, it worked. And Assam has a far more difficult electoral terrain for the BJP than in other states. Now, I think what really needs a little bit of re-examination on the part of the BJP is that you must get more rooted people as chief ministers. You must get more Himanta Biswa Sharmas. You must get more yogis. They might be temperamentally different, but they are both very rooted in their politics of the region. And this idea that you must get the nearest a person who's otherwise lackluster, etc. Now, I think in hindsight, everyone will recognize that the decision to remove Yadurappa, because he had turned 75, etc., was not a very wise decision, because his replacements were not as inspirational or as astute politically as him. So you went into battle with an idea, but that idea couldn't get translated into the ground, partly because there was a bad record of governance, there was no leadership, and remember, every state election is also in some ways a presidential election. The Congress, on the other hand, had familiar faces, both D.K. Shivkumar as well as Siddaramaiah, are known faces. They've been there for a very long time.
So you're accepting the fact that you need stronger, inspirational local leaders for the double engine to work.
BJP's own arrangement of BJP's own internal federalism needs to be re-examined in some way.
Okay, but let's turn therefore from there. We've looked at the Modi factor and the need for reinvention, but what about the opposition? Is the opposition unity index rising or falling? Take a look at this graphic that we've done to show where the opposition stands. Because remember, there are those who believe that the opposition's only hope to take on the Modi government is to have at least 400 of the 543 seats, one-on-one fights in 2024. And as we look at that opposition unity meter, we'll keep playing it. But Tavleen Singh, what is your sense? Does the opposition need to unite to defeat the BJP, a Modi-led BJP, to have any chance in 2024? Can they fight this election separately as they appear to be at the moment? And does the Congress need to be at the center of it all?
Look, when we're talking about this, and in the context of Karnataka, I have to say that people remember them all standing on that stage and holding hands and all that stuff that went on then.
5 years ago.
I don't think that is what is going to appeal to people.
Right.
But if in Karnataka, because actually on the governance, development, infrastructure front, no leader in the Congress party can compare with Modi. He has transformed India physically, and people can see that, as Ashok was saying. But, in Karnataka, if they can really govern Karnataka well, which is, a big ask considering what's been going on in the past few years, then I think that the voter might think that the Congress party is back, because there's no opposition unity without the Congress party being the fulcrum, the central pillar. You know, the rest of them are not in a position to compete nationally.
So are you talking
it
of
really all
one-on-one
depends
fights?
on the Congress party.
No, but are you saying there should be 400 one-on-one fights, or are you saying they need a narrative in the first instance, they need to have a track record of governance before they can claim we are united?
Yes, yes. They, you know, I mean, they can unite and fight one-to-one and all that. I don't think that in a Lok Sabha election, that is as important as the fact that, you know, I mean, Narendra Modi, even if it's 10 years, has been seen as a powerful prime minister who has given, you know, who has delivered on governance. I mean, there are other flaws, but the fact is that people have seen, even his opponents can see, that he has delivered. So can the Congress party, and the Congress party did not deliver for most of these 75 years, or the 50 that they were in power, they ran a pretty shabby kind of governance. So can they show us in Karnataka, for instance, that they can really govern?
Okay.
You know, I mean, I think that governance is going to be very, very important in the Lok Sabha election.